The year is 1948. The world is still reeling from the devastation of the Second World War. In the heart of Europe, the city of Berlin lies in ruins. Once a symbol of culture and power, Berlin is now a landscape of shattered buildings, broken streets, and haunted faces. The war has ended, but for the people of Berlin, the struggle for survival has only just begun. Imagine walking through the city at dawn. The air is cold, and the sky is gray. Rubble crunches underfoot as you pass the skeletons of bombed-out buildings. Children play in the ruins, their laughter echoing through empty streets, a fragile reminder of life before the darkness. Mothers queue for hours at soup kitchens, clutching ration cards and hoping for enough food to feed their families. Fathers, many of them wounded or missing, are remembered in faded photographs on mantels. But Berlin is not just a city of sorrow. It is a city of resilience. People have endured the unthinkable, and they are determined to rebuild. Yet, as the world's attention shifts to the future, a new crisis is about to unfold, one that will test the limits of hope and the power of unity. Before we delve into these overlooked tales of endurance and pain, if you find yourself drawn to the hidden corners of history, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories like this. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. I am always amazed that we can explore these ancient narratives together, no matter where we are in the world, united by our curiosity about the past. After the war, Germany is divided into 4 zones, each controlled by one of the victorious allies: the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin, though deep inside the Soviet zone, is also split into 4 sectors. The city becomes a microcosm of the world's new realistic fragile peace, overshadowed by suspicion and rivalry. At first, the Allies work together to rebuild. But beneath the surface, tensions simmer. The Soviets, led by Joseph Stalin, want to keep Germany weak and under their influence. The Western Allies, especially the Americans and British, believe that a strong, democratic Germany is essential for peace in Europe. As the months pass, the differences grow sharper. The Western Allies introduce a new currency, the Deutsche Mark, to help revive the economy. The Soviets see this as a threat. They fear losing control over Berlin, the symbolic heart of Germany. In June 1948, the Soviets make a bold and dangerous move. They block all road, rail, and canal access to West Berlin. Overnight, the city is cut off from the outside world. No food, no coal, no medicine can get in. The power plants located in the Soviet sector are shut down. The lights go out. The city is plunged into darkness. For the people of West Berlin, the blockade is a nightmare. Over 2 million men, women, and children are trapped, surrounded by hostile forces. Supplies dwindle rapidly. Bread lines grow longer. Coal for heating and electricity runs out. The Soviets believe the Western Allies will have no choice but to abandon the city. But the Berliners refuse to give in. They have survived bombs and hunger before. They will not surrender now. In Washington and London, leaders face a terrible dilemma. To give up Berlin would mean betraying the people and losing face in the eyes of the world. But to fight back could mean war, a war no one wants. General Lucius D. Clay, the American military governor in Germany, is determined not to abandon Berlin. He proposes a daring solution: supply the entire city by air. It is a plan that seems impossible. No city has ever been sustained solely by airlift. The logistics are staggering. But Clay is resolute. "We are going to stay, period," he declares. "We are going to supply Berlin by air." On June 26, 1948, the first American C-47 transport planes take off from bases in West Germany, bound for Berlin's Tempelhof Airport. The British soon join in, flying their own planes into Gatow and Tegel airports. The operation is called Vittles, But Berliners quickly give the planes a new name, Rosenbomber raisin bombers, because of the precious cargo they carry. At first, the airlift is a desperate gamble. The planes can carry only a fraction of what the city needs. Pilots fly in all weather, often with little sleep, landing on runways still being repaired from wartime bombing. The Soviets try to intimidate the pilots, buzzing their planes and shining searchlights into their cockpits at night. But the airlift grows. More planes arrive. New runways are built in record time, with Berliners working day and night, clearing rubble by hand. At its peak, a plane lands in Berlin every 30 seconds. For the people of Berlin, life during the blockade is a daily struggle. Food is rationed. Each person receives just enough to survive. A few slices of bread, a bit of margarine, some dried potatoes, powdered milk. Coal is precious. Families huddle together in one room to keep warm. But the Berliners do not give up. They organize soup kitchens, share what little they have, and find ways to keep their spirits up. Children play in the ruins, making toys from scraps of metal and wood. At night, families gather around radios, listening for news of the next day's flights. One Berliner, a young mother named Anna, writes in her diary, "We are hungry, yes, but we are not alone. Every day the planes come. Every day, we know the world has not forgotten us." Her son, Peter, just 7 years old, asks her one night, "Mama, will the planes come tomorrow?" Anna hugs him tightly and whispers, "Yes, Peter, they will come. They always come." Among the many pilots flying into Berlin is a young American named Gail Halvorsen. One day, after landing at Tempelhof, he notices a group of children standing by the fence, watching the planes. They are thin, their faces smudged with dirt, but their eyes are bright with hope. Halvorsen reaches into his pocket and finds 2 sticks of chewing gum. He hands them through the fence. The children break the gum into tiny pieces, sharing it among themselves. Not one child pushes or fights for more. Moved by their kindness, Halvorsen promises to drop more candy the next day. He tells the children to watch for his plane. He will wiggle his wings as he flies over. That night, Halvorsen and his crew tie chocolate bars and gum to handkerchief parachutes. The next day, as he approaches Berlin, he waggles his wings and drops the candy. The children cheer as the sweet treats float down. Word spreads quickly. Soon, other pilots join in. The candy bomber becomes a legend. For the children of Berlin, these small gifts are more than just candy, they are a sign that someone cares. Years later, one of those children, now an old man, recalls, "We had nothing, but when the candy fell from the sky, we knew we were not forgotten. It gave us hope." The Berlin Airlift becomes a symbol of hope around the world. Newspapers carry stories of the pilots and the people they help. In America and Britain, school children collect candy and send it to Berlin. Factories work around the clock to keep the planes flying. The Soviets try to stop the airlift. They spread rumors, jam radio signals, and even offer extra rations to Berliners who move to the east. But most Berliners refuse. They have tasted freedom and they will not give it up. As the months pass, the airlift becomes more efficient. New planes, like the American C-54 Skymaster, can carry more cargo. Crews develop new techniques for loading and unloading supplies. By the winter of 1948, the airlift is delivering more food and coal than had ever arrived by road or rail. The winter of 1948 to 49 is one of the coldest on record. Snow and ice make flying dangerous. Pilots brave blizzards and freezing fog, sometimes landing with only minutes of fuel left. Ground crews work in bitter cold, unloading sacks of flour and shoveling coal by hand. In the city, the struggle continues. Anna writes in her diary, "The nights are long and cold. Sometimes I wonder if we will make it. But then I hear the planes, and I know we are not alone." Despite the hardships, the airlift never stops. On Easter Sunday, 1949, the Allies set a new record: 12,941 tons of supplies delivered in a single day. The Berliners call it the Easter Parade. The airlift is not without tragedy. Some planes crash in bad weather or due to mechanical failure. Pilots and crew lose their lives, but their sacrifice is not forgotten. Memorials are built in Berlin to honor those who gave everything to keep the city alive. One such story is that of British pilot Flight Lieutenant John Thompson. On a foggy morning in January 1949, his plane crashes on approach to Gatto Airport. Thompson and his crew perish, but their names are remembered by the Berliners they helped save. Anna's neighbor, Frau Schneider, loses her husband, a ground crew worker, in an accident while unloading coal. At his funeral, she stands with her children, tears streaming down her face, but her voice is steady as she says, "He died helping others. He died for Berlin." As the airlift continues, the operation grows in scale and efficiency. At its peak, planes land in Berlin every 30 seconds, delivering Everett. The people of Berlin do their part, too. They clear rubble to build new runways, unload supplies, and share what little they have. The city becomes a symbol of resilience and unity. The world watches as former enemies Americans, British, and Germans work side by side. The airlift is not just a logistical triumph. It is a moral victory, a demonstration that freedom and compassion can overcome even the most formidable obstacles. For nearly a year, the airlift continues. The Soviets, frustrated by its success, try to disrupt the flights, but the Allies persevere. The people of Berlin endure, their spirits unbroken. Finally, on May 12, 1949, the Soviets lift the blockade. The city has survived, thanks to the courage and determination of thousands of men and women from around the world. The Berlin Airlift has delivered over 2.3 million tons of supplies in 277,000 flights. It is a feat of logistics, but more importantly, it is a triumph of the human spirit. With the blockade lifted, Berliners celebrate in the streets. Church bells ring, and people embrace, tears of relief and joy streaming down their faces. Anna writes in her diary, "Today the blockade is over. The planes still come, but now we know we are free. We have survived. We have hope." The airlift continues for several more months, just in case the Soviets change their minds. But the message is clear: Berlin will not be abandoned. The world has chosen hope over fear, unity over division. The Berlin Airlift changes the course of history. It marks the first major confrontation of the Cold War, but it is also a moment of unity and compassion. The bonds forged between the people of Berlin and their Western allies endure for generations. Gail Halvorsen, the candy bomber, returns to Berlin many times in his life. He is greeted as a hero not just for the candy he dropped, but for the hope he brought. Anna's son, Peter, grows up to become a teacher. Every year, he tells his students the story of the airlift. He shows them a faded handkerchief parachute, carefully preserved in a box. "This," he says, "is what hope looks like." The story of the Berlin Airlift is more than just a chapter in history. It is a reminder that, no matter how great the challenge, the human spirit can rise above adversity. It is a story of hope, of unity, and of the belief that together, we can overcome even the most impossible odds. In a world still divided by walls and borders, the lessons of Berlin are as important as ever. When we reach out to help others, when we choose compassion over fear, we build bridges that can withstand any storm. As you watch this video, remember the lesson of Berlin. In the face of adversity, let us be the bridge of hope for others. Let us reach out, help one another, and never give up. The Berlin Airlift was not just about planes and supplies. It was about people who refused to give in to despair, who chose hope over fear, and who showed the world that even in the darkest times, the light of humanity can shine through. Thank you for watching. If you found this story inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe for more true stories from history.